Today we shall take up the vision for this month of August. In the poem of Pampa, he says, I am the cause. My mind soared above all things, mundane and even celestial, and was dissolved in the states of being, the cause and origin of the seen and the unseen world. I now know the infinite truth God, whose love rules the spheres, whose might controls the four quarters, whose light illumines them all, taking back what is the truth in the world outside. That only according to him will give us the correct understanding of ourselves, about him, and our relationship with his creation. And God, we quote with an intense interest. These works were now to unveil to him a deeper meaning and significance, the spiritual evolution. So here he gives us the clue, Reading, hearing at the superficial level may not help much. But when we churn, contemplate, and meditate upon it, even while reading In Quest of God, behind the words, behind the theme, this cannot be done by merely reading. Put the book there. Try to jot down that which stands out, and then compare it with whatever experience God has given us. and then slowly assimilate it. Then it becomes a part of ours. In Quest of God, Lord Papa wrote, off and on he was prompted. Buddha, the light of Asia, Jesus Christ, New Testament, Mahatma Gandhi, young India and ethical religion. The young plant of Bhakti in Ram was thus nurtured in the electric atmosphere, in the thrilling atmosphere created by the influence of these great men as a part of in-depth study of Inquest of God. Beloved Papa prompted us to prepare our mind to take up meditation and chanting by deeply dwelling on the following four aspects. First, preparation, then guidelines, then spiritual discipline, then daily practice. Last month's issue of the vision, we will take up the second point, guidelines for daily life. We should also deeply contemplate upon the pointers shared in the guidelines. However, it is imperative the chanting of Ram Nam should not be slackened under any pretext. May the article shared in this issue be the compass showing us our true north, that means goal supreme. Object of life by the Lord Papa. The principal object of human life is to constantly think and meditate upon God. God is seated in the hearts of all creatures and pervades all moving and non-moving objects. By dedicating all our actions to Him, we have to live with all beings in mutual love and harmony. The basis of this love is eternal peace. God, who is the very being of love, is also the embodiment of peace. Immortality, bliss and wisdom are His other divine attributes. Refuge in this all-benevolent Lord grants the soul, who is stricken with sorrow, born of ignorance, imperishable bliss, peace and freedom. So the first para says, object is to think and meditate upon Him, who is within us. How do we do that? By dedicating all our actions, including chanting Ram Nam. So there is no divide between mundane and spiritual. So when we remember, we will try, It may not be possible to remember because we have not trained our mind to bring in this God dimension in anything and everything that we do, talk, think. But already you are fighting for but apply to attain the highest good should surrender to the Supreme Lord, who is the Savior, Controller, Protector of the world. There is no true happiness for him. Here, forget him. He is not full. But we remember him, we are full. We are full. Actually, for the deity. What is the experience? If fullness, the idleness remains there, with all serenity. It doesn't demand anything. Whatever we offer, it is taken back by us only. There, untouched, unaffected. This content. The distortion can never disappear. The only insight that beholds the same divine principle, creating principle. So when we go to temple, if this is employed, how the benefit will give. Are alone perfect, wise, free, reaching the supreme height, enjoy the rest bliss of union with God. Do not distinct limbs of yoga or different yogas. Pure bhakti is itself the fire of jnana. The movement born of the equality of bhakti and jnana is itself karma. The heart is rising in waves of bhakti. Buddhi is enlightened with jnana. The confluence of these two produce the blissful stream of karma for the good of humanity. Thus the yoga that is formed of bhakti, jnana and karma is the perfect prema yoga or yoga of love. Prema or love does not the emotional ebullition of the heart. It is not the tears that flow down the eyes. It is not the mere glowing thoughts made manifest in words. Although it is made up of all these signs, prema is still beyond them all. It is the very form and being of God Himself, shining with the lustre of perfection in whom bhakti, jnana and karma are equally embodied. If we would that God who is infinite love should in all His glory reveal Himself in us, His love must reflect on our thoughts, words and deeds. Prema is composed mainly of three powers: power of forgiveness, power of compassion, power of endurance. Although we are subjected to hate, contumely and the persecution from others, we do not harbor thoughts of ill will or revenge towards them, but think and wish well of them. Here we exercise our power of forgiveness. We take the sorrows and trials of others as our own and bring them relief. We go forward to serve them with enthusiasm and a selfless spirit. We sacrifice for the sake of our body, for their sake, our body, mind and riches. Here we exercise the power of compassion. We suffer to any extent in order to free others from their pains and troubles. And for gaining this end, we are prepared to cheerfully renounce all our personal pressures. Here we exercise our power of endurance. So the three ways in which the purest form of love expresses: power of love, power of forgiveness, power of compassion. Power of endurance. In a life of self-denial, we experience pure, independent, incomparable delight. It is now we have the realization of the fullness to pray. It is now the soul, having achieved liberation, reveals himself in its true being as Brahman. Now the soul remains merged in the limitless ocean of Anand in all states. Attain to this greater than the greatest status of Purushottama. Reach this transcendent apex of human aspiration, which is your birthright. Having realized deathless peace, spread it all over the world. Be blessed. So this is the first lead article, object of life. What are the points covered by Papa? The one article we have read.
Forgiveness, power of compassion,
bhakti, jnana and karma. Then, object of our life is to meditate on it, to become one with it. Then,
spirituality.
Then,
our and the world వచ్చేది.
Know the origin of your
Satsang is dominating. Like that, think about it. Is that where, what is the quotation?
discontent be for
If I don't ask, nobody look at it.
we should not be discontented with the situations in which he places us.
Eh?
We should not be discontented with the situation in which he places us. But the discontent should be for not having progressed sufficiently on the path and attain the vision of God.
We should feel discontented with what all that has been given to us. At the same time, should feel discontent for not having sufficiently progressed on the spiritual path. That is our fuel, that is our incentive. Otherwise, we may think, compression, we may not be, it's alright when we go to ashram, we chant like that, no. No. The discontentment of not having sufficiently progressed on the spiritual path. In spite of my chanting, in the power of compassion, public model. These are some of the ways by which the thickness of the me and mind can be erased. God makes us to go through many, many trying situations. At that time, normal tendency would be to blame, but no. Even if the other party, according to us, has done something wrong, it will be spontaneous also. The chapter, in the 8th sloka, when you start, Sandushta Sadatam Yogi. Okay, so we will move and see how many points remain with us. Beloved, principles should be followed in meditation. Papa, Ramdas can tell you his own experience regarding meditation. He had never practiced meditation for the first year of his sadhana. He was simply repeating God's name with all love and faith. That is meditation. Not simply telling, "Pray, blessed." He thought that was the highest purpose in life. To that end, he was day and night. After his return to Bangalore, he occupied came correct, closed his eyes. As soon as he closed the eyes, the mind became still. He lost in joy. He could not come out. Because he was enjoying that rare bliss, he could not come out. In that stage, he sat for these 3 hours, still like a rock, not entirely unaware of the external life. For a time, there was a dim consciousness. When he was sitting erect like this, a peculiar feeling came over him in which he lost his consciousness, awareness of the hands, and the sensation gradually extended all over the body, until at last he was completely oblivious of it. He was sitting awake in a state of supreme joy and was feeling that he was all-pervading. He was lost in that consciousness. The chanting of the name had done its task, and he had been prepared for the final plunge. Now he was completely lost. Thereafter, whenever there was any devotional music going on, he used to go into trance for hours together. But later on, this developed into another consciousness wherein he beheld everywhere the divine. As he became more and more aware of the divine presence everywhere, going into trances became less frequent until he was established in God consciousness to such an extent that that state remained with him in all conditions, whether awake or asleep or talking or walking. That means unknowingly we all get into that feeling, to be limited to that particular time, to the particular experience. So Papa, though he was given all these things, him always, so that he doesn't have to sit again for meditation, for doing this, for doing that. Because God remembrances has all practice of chanting God's name. The divine consciousness which he experienced in trances is still maintained. This is how meditation came to him. It was spontaneous. The individual self must be absorbed in the universal, and you must lose the body consciousness, completely merging your individual being in the supreme being within you, who may be called God or truth or reality. So one more message Papa gives: meditation is the outcome of our intense practices. Reading this, suppose we go and sit, they may not be able to. He says spontaneous, and it is an outcome. So if it has to come, it will come. So what is needed is the message is constant remembrance. Every day when we pray, we can bring all these dimensions in our heart. That Millennia Prabhu, the river should become one with the ocean. Then only the river loses its identity, So I should become one with this. So every day we pray, when we chant, we can say, when are you going to enable me to merge in you? You are the subtle and mysterious power. What is that word? Inquest of God is enough. Because inquest of God in the first article, he has given us all these. We failed. He says, Ram first kindled in the heart of his humble slave Ramdas a keen desire to realize his infinite love, to strive to approach and understand Ram. Is to recede from the world of vanishing forms, because Ram is the only truth, the only reality. Ram is a subtle and mysterious power that pervades and sustains the whole universe. Pervades and sustains. Birthless and deathless is He. He is present in all things, in all creatures, who only appear as separate entities due to their ever-changing forms. To wake up from this illusion of form is to realize at once the unity or love of Ram. Love of Ram means love of all beings, all creatures, all things in the world, because Ram is in all is in Ram, Ram is all in all. To realize this great truth, we who through ignorance feel as separate individuals should submit ourselves to the will and working of the infinite power, the infinite love Ram, who is one and all-pervading. So we try to pray, include in our prayer, before starting Ram Nam or in between Ram Nam or after Ram Nam. Enable me to merge myself in you, who is all-pervading. Because I know that the sense of individuality is the biggest roadblock. So unless I merge in your cosmic being, I will not be able to get out of it. So please enable me to merge. Either before dropping the body or along with dropping the body. You have given us the freedom to pray to you. No? With that freedom we pray. All of us have been given freedom to pray to Him in any manner we want. So here we are not asking anything, only this. You are making me to chant Ram Nam. You give us the association of various Mahatmas. You have provided everything in this holy ashram. The only request is, I know what is the roadblock, the me and mine. You yourself have said in the second chapter, that remove the I. The individual self must, at the moment we all agree, but we can probably 1,000th of an inch we may be moving, towards it. It's enough. I have been recorded. Let us see what Mataji has to say. Papa's eternal being that we have to attain is one of utter emptiness. Total void. We have to keep on thinking about it. Simply Mataji is hearing, how can we empty? Very difficult to empty. And without emptying, we will not feel His presence. So first we will empty, we will fill it with sattvic thoughts. As much sattvic thoughts as possible. So that the Rajasic and Tamasic thoughts will slowly push away. And then finally the sattvic thoughts also. We pray to Him. Sattvic thoughts come by association with co-aspirants, co-sadhakas, meeting Mahatmas, going through their wisdom teachings. Singing and chanting the glories of His name. Glories of Him, even glories of Him, that is okay. Pujya Swami Satchidanand, when he drafted the poem, he was also glorifying the personal aspect of Lord Vishnu. Though he ultimately identified God as consciousness absolute, still he adored the form. So that means, he gives us a message. There is a bhajan, what is it? Guru Kripa Anjana. Have you ever Aparam Brahman? Then Guru Kripa Anjana, Payu Meri Payu. Next line? Then Andar Rama, Bahar Rama, there he is apart, he is somewhere. For example, the Udar, So like that, when we keep on seeing the glory, what all we are given. In spite of, I don't deserve anything because I have never acknowledged, I have never honestly felt that you are given. But in spite of that, you are giving, Not only you have given, you are giving, you have been giving. So, some method by which you do. That is how the sattvic thoughts develop, and then we will be able to push out the rajasic and tamasic. So we are, Mataji says you have to make yourself, we should also become thoroughly empty within.
Apar is not there.
Apar is not there. Mahima something.
जागत रामा सोगत रामा सपने में देखो रामा राजा की रामा एक जनार्दनी भावहीनिका जो देखो वो राम सरिता
अपार महिमा इदने
गुरु महिमा
अपार and in the Ajmer Vinati that also I think it comes anyway it's all right. So there should not be the least vestige of Dehaviman. Only then can we attain Papa's Shashvata Swarupa. Nirguna, Nirvigara, Nirakara, Shashvata, Ananda Swarupa. So in the Saguna worship also this helps a lot. When we glorify Him, the mind is full of His glories. That means you have filled it, though you are not emptied, you have filled it with sattvic thoughts. Last line of Narayana.
Narayana, last line.
Last line Narayana.
Agre Pashyami is the first word.
Sveta Narayaniyam. Sveta Narayaniyam.
Ayurarogya Saukyam is Ajnata, Ajnate. Anyhow, it's all right. The idea is to somehow fill our mind with positive thoughts. Tomorrow these mothers are going to chant Narayanam day after tomorrow. Those who are interested can join. We need not know the entire meaning. Think about God, finished. Think about Lord Krishna. He is there from top to bottom. Finished, that is enough. Papa's real nature, real Swabhava is Nirguna Nirvigara Swarup. Nameless, formless, static, void aspect. Papa. See, each word, we have to stop. Really can read and go, Papa's real nature, God's real nature, real Swabhava is Nirguna Nirvigara Swarup. Nameless, formless, static, void. Such a supreme being who fills all space came in a human form in order to enjoy his own bliss. It is like engrossing the emptiness that is all around you within the confines of a small container. This. The all-pervading self is contained in this small enclosure. It is like enclosing the emptiness that is all around you within the confines of a small container. And it is a space that we are using, The space is God. Gana-savrisham, we repeat, in the slogas. Gana means this space. Brahmanandam, Paramasukadam, Kevalam, Jnanamurtim, Dandvaditam, Gana-savrisham. Shantakaram, Pujakashayanam, Patmanabam, Suresham, Vishwakaram. So even the Saguna and Nirguna prayer, we have defined it as Saguna and Nirguna. There, it brings this Saguna. He is Gagana Sadasham. He is like the space. And what is space? Such a supreme being who fills all space came in a human form in order to enjoy his own bliss. It is like enclosing the emptiness that is all around you within the confines of a small container. Take away the enclosure, what is left? Only emptiness again. With this you will say it's not empty, But when you take away, you say empty. So it is there in the emptiness, it is also containing the emptiness, when it is taken away also the emptiness is there. Papa's eternal being is all void. And we can become one with such a Swarup only if we ourselves become thoroughly empty within and without. Ultimate state of realization would be like the vast space around us, between us. Just to bring some thought into your mind, and as soon as that thought ends, there is a pause before you think of another thought, and the mind is blank in that period. That blankness is Papa. The vacant space between you and me is Papa. So much is He all pervading. So much is He all pervading, Papa, is seated in your heart. In the final stage of God realization, when you become one with reality, you shed the last vestige of body consciousness and the sense of duality and become one with Him. Then there is none left to imbibe that experience and come back and report, you and He become one. God is the all-pervading, Nirguna, Nirakara, Adiyantarahita, Shashwata, void, filled with Shashwata bliss, infinite reality. Papa is all this and beyond this too. You are also within it, but you do not know it. You live, move and have your being in Him. Papa protects you both within and without. So that itself is sufficient for us to think, Today 3 articles we covered. So the void, empty, how to empty within. And Papa talks about the object of life. And then he was also making a mention about meditation. Mataji talks about the attributes of the Lord. And like that, suppose we take 1 or 2 points from each. That will be the food for thought, seed for thought. So that it will not leave us, the moment we go out of the room. It was a good session, good thing came, that's what we will say, but we will not remember anything. But at least a few we will remember, try to remember. And then try to go digging, plumbing deep within. What is the word, this voice? How to empty myself? What is the space? How to still the mind? Something like that. The object is to remember Him. That is why in the last chapter you will find Papa telling, very touching that word, because he started with a stressful mind. He says, it was about 2 years ago, for nearly a year, Ramdas struggled on in a world full of chaos, anxieties, pains. It was a period of terrible stress and restlessness. In this utterly helpless condition, full of misery, where is rest? Where is peace? This was the harsh cry of Ramdas. But in the 37th chapter, before he closes down, day before yesterday when we were passing through Panchapandava cave, from the airport, we were remembering. Ramdas stays by Ram's command in a cave called Panchapandava cave on the Kadri hill and lives there a serene life, devoting his whole time in talking about, writing off and meditating on that all-loving, glorious Ram. Serene life. Meditating, writing and talking, no? So that was touched in three articles. Like that we will try to take up more of it tomorrow. So what is more important is to assimilate, to retain something of it. Just as the school teacher, there is a text, there is a teacher. The text only contains the syllabus, curriculum. Why should there be a teacher? We can go through and stop, we will not understand. So a teacher is necessary to take up chapter by chapter. And to make it more and more clearer to us, we refer to the text. And for that he gives us the homework. We refer to the text, we hear, we remember what he told us, and we answer the homework. And at the end of the year, we are asked to sit for examination, where the text will not be allowed to be taken. Guru, teacher also will not be there. And you also don't know what questions are going to come. Only in the hall the question paper box will be open. And then, no problem. We have to bring it out in our own way. Similarly, books are there. Papa is giving us these thoughts clearly. And then, examinations are the experiences. You may call it as bitter and sweet. So we have been asked as Papa's spiritual children that this experience is too much for me, that everything is an experience, everything is an examination. So every now and then he puts it there, just to check up whether we have absorbed whatever that has been facilitated to absorb, whether we have really absorbed, or we are just attending sessions here, whether we are reading the session, reading the book, whether it is going inside, and whether it is actually helping us in our own way. Kindly think about it. Is it not the same? Here, unlike the question paper, there is no examiner here in any form. The examiner is he, giving us the question paper in the form of problem. And he watches how we solve the problem. That is the answer. So we are now praying to him. You have just made us understood that whatever experiences we are made to go through, that is the experience, that is the test. Kindly enable us to view it as a test, rather than labeling it as good or bad, and becoming happy or becoming sad, respectively. Please enable us to realize that everything that you make me to go through is a test, is a test, is a test. And in quest of God is completely, it is completely with these examinations only. Papa was put to test at every place. But he was able to take it. Let's say you always say, I know you are doing it. So the in-depth study should give us this, by the end of December, you must get something of it. You may not be able to get the full of it, okay. Something of it like that whatever experiences he makes me to go through, I should be able to accept it as a test. I should not blame any external conditions. Anything outside I should not be able to. I may say, but I should feel that it is only your test, your test, your test, to make me more and more perfect and your fittest instrument, so that you will absorb me unto yourself. Let us all keep this vibrantly, Siddhanta Swami used to say, vibrantly, dynamically. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Oh, Shri Ram.